morning, night, whatever time it is now for you. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and read this police report of those videos that I posted here just not too long, just about 20 minutes ago to me. This says all the normal stuff. I undersign and upon my oath, of course, he has no fucking honor to me. Say that acknowledge and believe that on 12/24/17 in Logan County, West Virginia, in violation of West Virginia code, and they cite all the specific codes and right, I don't know if they got them right or not, but it doesn't fucking matter. DUI, battery on an officer, and driving on a suspended license due to DUI. My DUI was from when I was 20 years old. I was 10 days from my 21st birthday, just to let y'all know. That's how petty they are around here. I lost my license pretty much eternally for it. But anyway, it says on 12/24, Patrolman Ziegler observed defendant Aaron Scott operating a Honda four-wheeler. How the hell he tells a Honda from where he was at, but whatever. On Stratton Street. I was on Main Street at a stoplight when he observed me. And when making contact with the defendant, it says when making contact with the defendant was yelling. Yes, making contact with the defendant, he means I was yelling. And acting in an aggressive manner. I was acting in no aggressive manner. The video's right there. It's pretty damn obvious I'm not aggressive. I'm sitting there, I've got my helmet off, I'm talking to him, perfectly calm. I start seeing other cars pull up, and I start getting nervous because there was a deputy sheriff that had beat me up one other time, but for shits and giggles mostly. I'm trying to keep it as short as possible, guys. So I'm nervous because I see deputy cars pulling in. And I said, don't let Deputy Johnson around me, Jimmy, man, because Ziegler, I don't know. Officer Jimmy Shepard, the one that actually wrote the report, he's the first one that pulls in there, is a person that I know pretty well. I used to live in town. Anyway, what he says is the aggressive manner I was acting in was begging for him not to let Officer Johnson come anywhere near me. Let's see, where was I? I said I smell alcohol emitting from his person. The defendant had glassy, bloodshot eyes. After I'd been riding a four-wheeler with no glasses on, it kind of dries your eyes out a bit with the wind blowing in your face and stuff. But they don't mention that. They don't even think about that. And slurred speech. Guys, y'all hear my accent? Some people consider it a slurred speech. Fuck them, I don't care. It's my accent. Alright, now the officer asked the defendant to step off the four-wheeler. They hadn't asked me a goddamn thing, except where I'd been and blah, 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 and tyrant, and yeah. I'm saying he refused to step off of the four-wheeler. Then the officers were forced to, no, it says, and then he refused. Officers then forced the defendant off of the four-wheeler and placed him under arrest, and the defendant was in possession of an open alcoholic beverage. That was the one on the ground. Now, after being placed under arrest, the officer, James L. Shepard, not the arresting officer, attempted to perform standardized field sobriety tests on the defendant, and he refused. Yes, I refused. He didn't ask me if I wanted to do a field sobriety test. He could tell by the time that he asked me that I'm bleeding from both sides of my face, that my arms had blood running down them, and wants me to take a field sobriety test. I said, hell no, I'm not taking a field sobriety test. At this point, I am kind of angry, and I'm getting a little irate. After having 6 guys beat on you, that's generally what happens. Now, let's see here. Said he began to kick the windows of the patrol officer. It says, oh, wait a minute. Let me read it right. I don't want to get anybody fucked up. While transporting the defendant, he began to kick the windows of the patrol vehicle. Guys, I'm 6'3". In the back of those patrol cars, it does not have room to put a man that's 6'3" behind the seat. So I have my feet laying across the seat. I've been in a dozen, probably more than that, police cars. I've always sat like that. None of the officers, matter of fact, most of them suggest that I sit like that. Now, this officer attempted to restrain the victim. We're on our way to the courthouse in transit, right? Which courthouse isn't far away. And he attempted to restrain me from the front seat while the car's moving somehow. No, that's not what he did. He's just leaving everything out that he possibly can. I see at the time the defendant kicked the officer in the chest. No, I didn't. I didn't kick him. I've never put my hands on an officer. Not one time ever. I will not even reach to shake their hand. Nothing. I don't care if it's been a civil confrontation or not. It says the officer, little Jimmy Shepherd, all by himself, removed me from the vehicle. He forgot about the other 5 cops that was there that would have been removing me from the vehicle had I even been in it. Well, I hadn't been yet. And says this officer forcefully removed me from the vehicle. You can't forcefully remove a goddamn bottle out of a paper bag. He ain't forceful enough to do it. Now it says, and the defendant had to be sprayed with capstan. Yeah, that calms me down every time. And both feet restrained before placing him back in the vehicle. Now let me get you a picture of this. Here I am. At the time, I was about 270 pounds. 6 foot 3 inches. Fairly large man. And he, and even if it's him and Officer Ziegler, even though they was in separate cars, Jimmy all by himself picked me up and put me in the back of the car. I don't see it. I couldn't do it. Not by myself, not a person. They move, they wiggle. He'd have probably dropped me a few times, you'd think. Maybe that's what he's saying. He couldn't hold my weight up, so he dropped me so many times it hurt. That's the end. You all can see. That is the end of the report. There is nothing in between. Nothing whatsoever. That is all of it. No more. So, what they did leave out, though, was that when we got down to City Hall, of course, all these officers came, all 6. They're like, well, we're gonna have to carry him in. Fuck it, go ahead and take those things off of him. He ain't doing nothing anyway. I swear to God, that's what one of the cops said. Nobody believed but me on that, but hey, fuck it. So I'll just leave that out. It doesn't matter. We go on in, and all of them follow us in. We go in there next to the desk where they do the reports, and I sat down in the chair I was provided, and I sat down. Well, when I sat down, all the officers stand there and talk and giggle for a minute, so proud of themselves for beating up an unarmed person with in handcuffs. They love it. They think it's great. They go to paradises. You know, fuck him. And then they proceeded to leave, all of them, except Jimmy. Jimmy's the only one in there with me now. Usually, if there had been a confrontation like that, the officers are not allowed to be alone with the prisoner. There's very specific reasons for that. It cuts down on officer brutality. It keeps the defendant safe. It keeps the officers safe. Well, that's good. Good. I'm in handcuffs. They think I'm all right. Jimmy said, stand up here, man. Let me take your handcuffs off of you. Well, now I've got my handcuffs off. You ain't tricking me, boys. I'm not violent, and I'm not going nowhere. And I sat down with my arms on the edge of the chair. And me and Jimmy proceeded to talk, which I did call him a liar a few times because he said I kicked him. I said, you're lying. I said, Jimmy, it's that simple. You're lying, and I don't know why you're lying. You know I'd have went to jail. We wouldn't be having this problem, and everybody'd be gone. But no, you decided to bring in all these officers with you that escalated the situation, just like they always do. And then the person that I'm begging them, please don't let him around me, Deputy Johnson. I said, please, guys, don't, just keep him out of it, man. Keep him away from me. Don't let him fuck with me. He's done hurt me one time before. No. What they did was they sent Officer Johnson back there to run my son off so that he couldn't be videoed while they were beating me up. You know, they couldn't hear me saying, "Come on, man, please just keep him away from me." I do have a loud voice, guys. I do. I never denied it, but I do control it quite a bit. And at this time, I was not yelling. I was not upset until they started beating on me. And when they did start beating on me, I have no doubt I called them every cunt and bitch and whore that I could think of. Probably their parents as well, which I would have apologized for because it was out of line. With the exception that they were beating my ass, and it seems like to me children learn from their parents. So they take me to the jail, and on the way up to the jail, we stopped at the old state police headquarters, and they decided that they were going to go into the breathalyzer in there, which is a big computerized one that's supposed to be more accurate. And I said, "Jimmy, I told you I'm not taking a breathalyzer." He said, "Okay, I know, I heard you." So I go, and I sit down and I wait, and then we leave after Jimmy logged something in that report, and I'm not sure what he logged in that report, but he logged something. It was probably something to do with I took a breathalyzer and blew something, but they never did. They never did bring it up. Okay, here's the next thing happens. We're on our way to Southwestern Regional Jail on 119, and on the way up there, Ziegler says, "Turn around and sit straight." Well, I've already gone through that. You know I can't. I said, "Dude," I said, "I'm 6'3". How do you expect me to turn around and sit straight with less than 2 inches there to put my legs?" Well, he said, "Well, you're going to sit straight," and tells Jimmy to pull the car over, and Jimmy pulls over. This man, comes around me, opens the door behind me, because I'm sitting like this. This is the door behind me. My feet's facing the driver's side door. And what he actually winds up doing is he takes the seatbelt loose and wraps it around my neck. When we get to the jail, it wasn't tight, but it was tight when he was holding it. We get to the jail, and he jumps out of the car, and while Jimmy's opening the door at my feet so that I can scoot out, just like I've done 100 other times, Ziegler opens the door behind me and grabs my arms and starts yanking me out the door. Why was that necessary? It wasn't necessary. The reason he did it? Because he's a little prick, has a small man complex, and thinks he's tough to beat up on a bigger guy that's in handcuffs and can't defend himself. We get into the jail, and an officer there, his name was Timothy Browning, and Officer Browning is a longtime CO of Southwestern Regional Jail. Never had any problems out of him. Most people don't. He's a pretty laid-back guy. He does his job, and that's it. He will only force anything if he has to. Timmy had to take the handcuffs off of me, guys, and the handcuffs, I had so deep indentions in my hand, and it wasn't in one spot like here, like it usually is. I've been in handcuffs. They were so tight that it was completely around my wrist. The bands. I have numbness in both hands because of this, and it took me forever to get to file a complaint because I kept getting told that the chief of police wasn't there. Chief of police wasn't there. Chief of police wasn't there. There was an officer that I do happen to know. I won't mention his name just because he's a good guy and he helped me out. When I went downtown just to physically confront them myself, I had my YouTube on. I had my camera in my pocket, my phone, and this officer walks me in. He says, "Yeah," he said, "he's right in here. Come on in." And I blew past the secretaries with him. Well, when I go in there, Chief Clemens, he decides that he's going to say something about how long it's been, because I've only done this maybe a week and a half ago. And I said, "Mr. Clemens, the reason it's taken so long is because I was in jail for a couple months over this. Not convicted anything, just in jail, waiting on bond." But I told him the same story I told you. He's seen the same videos you have, and he filed the complaint report for me. Deputies in Logan will not allow me to file a complaint report. Actually, I was told I would be physically removed, and that is going to come up here pretty soon because I didn't actually have my camera that day. I'd only been out for a few days, and I went straight to it. Guys, it doesn't matter how long it takes you to file the complaint. It's the fact that you file it. And anybody that's been beat up needs to file a complaint. If you don't, then I don't know what to tell you. Just go let them do it again. Keep doing it. If you like it, go get beat up some more. That doesn't mean you're going to stop breaking the law. That means that you're probably going to get beat up some more, and that's fine. They beat me up some more. It's just not right. And anybody from Logan County or anybody in West Virginia, any of you supposedly good citizens, law-abiding citizens, think that this can't happen to you. They didn't know who I was. My helmet had a mask on it, had long sleeves on my jacket. They couldn't see my tattoos, and they still treated me this way. I've been a citizen of Logan damn near my entire life, Logan County anyway, and it's just not it's not a normal way to act to me. But guys, thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel and see what the rest of the story brings, because it's coming with a lawsuit, and if I can get the news to listen, they're going to hear me too. Since I haven't been able to yet, that's why I'm doing this. Guys, be kind to each other, be kind to everybody, and you'll get kindness in return. Well, except with cops. Don't pretend to disrespect them. That is the worst law ever. That is the worst crime you can ever commit. Peace.